Murray and Marcel Douglas have built a 1,000 cow, 300 hectare dairy farm business west of Whangarei in Northland. They've also raised 3 sons, now in their late 20s and 30s. Since leaving school, the boys trained in and experienced other occupations until 2010, when they formed ITR Ag to first equity manage, then share milk on the home farm, where son Ian now farms full-time. The ITR Ag partnership is the vehicle for a planned farm succession from the parents to the sons.
We had 3 boys, and when they're in their early 20s, they all drifted off and did their own thing. Ian, the oldest, he went off to do hotel management. Tim, the middle boy, he went to be a pilot, and so he's a commercial pilot by trade. And the youngest one, Roger, did a degree at university and went and worked for Dairy NZ for a couple of years. And then there was a point where Ian decided that it would be quite good to come home and run the farm. Murray and I were getting a little bit like, so what are we going to do with this farm we've built up to such a state that it really needs someone that knows a bit about the business, that follows our same values. And it's fairly hard to actually grow someone into that role, and the easiest way is actually a family member. We saw an opportunity of another farm that could come up for lease, and Murray suggested that the boys might like to go in together and share milk that. And so it all sort of started coming together. And then we started thinking, well, how's all this going to work? We need to formalise this system. And so after a bit of inquiring actually with the Rabobank and the succession planning that they run with a guy called Tony Hemington, and he helped us through it over a 2-day process of what all our goals were, what our directions are. It wasn't going to be a practical option to split the farm that we had. You could sell it and start again, but we've all, even the boys, have a close connection to the farm. And I mean, it was Grandad's farm and we've grown it, and you know, that becomes an important issue too. We've set up a board, so we have formal meetings. That's actually important, that no one goes overstepping the mark in their expenditure in their different businesses. I mean, we're supporting our youngest son, Roger, and he's our manager in Brazil, so we have a business over there, and the boys equally have invested a considerable amount of money in there. And so I guess we've got 2 brothers backing one there in Brazil, and then they're all backing Ian in New Zealand to run the business here.
The key thing coming back into the family farming business was that we wanted to, as the next generation, be doing it for ourselves, not working in our parents' shadow or working for our parents. So it was important that we drew that line in the sand quite early, and that we, while leveraging off their equity and leveraging off their business that they had built up, but creating the same thing for ourselves in our own way as well. It was quite challenging in the beginning. 4 different males in the family, and then obviously mum. So, and subsequently partners getting involved over time. But it was quite important that we were all heading in the same direction, and that we did exactly get around the table and nutted out and put out the parameters of how it was going to work. And that ultimately it's business, but there is an emotional side as well. We all trust each other's judgment on what we're doing on any given day. So Tim has to have confidence that I know what I'm doing here while he's over in Belgium, as with Roger, I have to have confidence that he's doing what he's doing in Brazil, protecting my equity there, and vice versa. It's an advisory board that we have as a governance structure. We meet quarterly. It was a little more frequently when we first got amongst it. But we have an independent chair, which is quite important to make sure that Murray's not the dominant person at the table, and that everyone has their opinion and say. My partner Rowena, we've been together now for coming up 8 years. She's now heavily involved in the business and effectively runs the office and the administration side of it. Tim also has a partner as well, Miani, and she, when they were living in New Zealand, was involved in the business as well. But ultimately, They have a chair at the table, but they don't have a vote. My advice to the younger generation within a succession planning environment is have your say right at the beginning, get everything out on the table, don't hold anything back. It's important that no one's feelings get hurt in years to come. If you're going to do it, it needs to be done up front. And make sure that you're not steamrolled by the older generation. You do have a lot to offer, but in the same token you need to respect where the equity and the step up in terms of the speed in which you can grow will occur.
We're more than happy the way things are working. Well, there was a few not negotiables and we all had that, and one of them was for us to have a new home. We had a home away from the main dairy farm, so we were out of the so-called rat race of the staff and having to watch over things every day. But equally, I enjoy getting out there and helping out, and I like it when the boys ask me, hey, can you come and help with this, and yeah, can you deal with that this morning? There are people out there that can help people with as far as any succession planning goes. And the important thing for us too was that we actually went back after 2 years and had another session just to keep us on track, and it's probably almost time that we did that again. And it needs to be in a formal situation. Everyone's personal situations change. We have partners involved now. So that's important that they also share the same goals and find out what it is that they want as well and what they want from the business. The important thing for us as far as the exit strategy, and we've made it quite clear, is that in any exit wants to be planned, and it's important that we actually share our emotions as well as the business side of things. And so if there's any emotional issues that need dealing with, then we can put it in place in plenty of time, and so that any exit's not a fire sale, so to speak.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.